Hey guys, this one's for anyone who's got some debt they really'd like to pay off with a side hustle. Our guest today is Sadie Earl, who paid off $16,000 of student loans with DealMachine and driving for dollars and wholesaling real estate, which is a strategy where you find a rundown property and you get it under contract and you pass it off to another investor and making a big finder's fee. So you don't have to put down any money on your own. And so we're going to break down how Sadie did that on this episode. I'm David Lecco. This is the podcast for helping you 10x your income and quit your W-2 job. I created a process that's helped people close 10,000 deals in all 50 states called DealMachine. And Ryan Haywood is with us as well, my co-host, who's done 419 deals in St. Joseph, Missouri. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm great. I'm happy
Awesome.
to be here.
So Sadie, I was just curious, how many deals did it take to pay off your entire student debt, which was $16,000?
It took me 2 deals through DealMachine, helping me make that happen. Less than a year out of school.
Okay, wow. So you're less than a year out of school. What were you doing at the time? What was your job?
Yeah, at the time, I was working for Main State Property Group or Evan and Clay Manship here in Indianapolis. I started with them as an intern in 2019. They opened up my vision to how much money you can make in real estate investment. And I immediately became addicted to it. I graduated college in May of 2020, COVID year, naturally. And I remember emailing them and saying, are you going to hire me back full time or what? Like what are we going to do here? So went back full time and started with Main State Property Group. And I believe it was June, and I said, hey, I got $16,000 worth of student debt. I have bigger dreams than having this cloud kind of stand over me. That's the only thing I had graduated with, that I'd never owed anybody money. And I was like, I hate this feeling. So naturally they were like, just give us a second here. We're going to show you the ropes, how you're going to get that going pretty quickly. Nope, it wasn't. Probably a couple of weeks later, they brought to me, hey, we got our buddy's named David Lecco. He runs this DealMachine app. Basically, you download it on his phone and you just take off. And I was like, interesting. When we went through all the training, what's it look like? Then a couple of weeks later, they sat down with the company, rolled it out in our group, and had a competition. At the time, I was the only female on staff. And all these boys were competitive, and I was just as competitive. Just obviously graduated college, played college softball, so competitive nature. And I was like, my goal is to do nothing but pay off my student loans and make sure that these boys know, like, I'm here to compete. And so naturally, that happened. And here I am. It took me, I believe, 11 months exactly to pay my student debt.
Wow, not many people pay off their student debt in 11 months. What did you do after you got out of that company meeting? Like, did you walk out the door and get in your car? Like, tell us exactly what happened.
I remember texting my now husband and was like, hey, like, we don't have plans anymore after work. Like, here's this app. We can make infinity money. Like, this is what we're doing. So I remember going on, like, okay, Monday night, we're going to go to the east side of Indianapolis. Tuesday night, we're going to go to the south side. I was like, you have no plans. Like, this is what we're doing. And it paid off in the end. The deal I remember the most is a deal off Catherwood. Owner lived in Hawaii, rental property, distressed. I actually set the appointment for our sales guy, Warren, at the time. I remember being annoying. I sat by his desk until he closed the deal. Because it was just like, it was the first one. You get a taste of success, like you just want more.
So the way it worked at Mainstay was, you found the property and then the guy called in and then you ended up passing it to Warren, whose job was to actually close the deal?
Correct. So at the time I was fresh out of college. I had a little bit of sales experience, but during my internship with Mainstay, my role was I really focused on the buyer side. I didn't really pay much attention to the seller side. I worked along very closely with Evan and understanding what our investors wanted. So then when I came back full time, I went to the other side, which was mostly with Clay, which is Midwest Cash Offer, which is the cash buying side. So finding and working with those sellers. So I came in as a lead gen specialist. So I would set appointments for the sales guys. But the way that we had it set up is that even if I got it through DealMachine, I could give it to a sales guy. I was still heavily compensated for that. So,
Got it. Do you remember like how much would they give you on a deal for finding it?
I can't remember off the top of my head. I wanted to say I made pretty close to 50% of what the revenue was. So
That's amazing. So they, can you explain like wholesaling? Just so for somebody who's never done a wholesale deal before, could you explain like what wholesaling is and why do they have two companies that kind of operate as one?
yeah, absolutely. So here, how we handle it is we have two sister companies. So we have Midwest Cash Offer, which is the buyer side. Obviously, we work with the sellers. And then we have Mainstay Property Group, who is the investor-facing side. So Midwest Cash Offer buys for A, we sell for B, we make the spread, and we move forward. Everybody wholesales differently. Everybody has their own nooks and crannies of what works best for them. But I mean, we've been in business going on 10 years in May, so it's like it's working for us. Evan and Clay have quite the shop here, so that's how we do it. Obviously, there's, like I said, there's many ways that one could technically wholesale.
Hey guys, if you know you want to quit your job in the next 3 months, make sure you're subscribed to this podcast because we've got some incredible frameworks with step-by-step instruction that you're not going to want to miss. Also, leave us a rating and review to let us know your favorite parts and why you want to get financial freedom. Why did you decide to work for this wholesale company as an intern when you were just getting started compared to like working with a real estate brokerage?
Actually, I was very money hungry. I've always been money hungry. My parents wanted me to focus on like college, and like my dad was like, I just really want you to have a high batting average. And I was like, oh, like there's money. Like, how do I like balance all three? How do I get good grades, be a decent softball player, and make money? And I found Evan and Clay, and I basically got them to buy into me, and I bought into their ways of how they were going to make me money and how I was going to be debt free, like basically all these things that they have just taught me about how real estate investment is way different than just retail real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, retail, nothing. What?
I've got 2 questions.
Yeah.
A, what was your batting average?
I think I ended my career batting average after 4 years was like 389 or something. So,
whoa,
That's high.
really high.
I went to school in Marion, so I lived at home. So it was very easy to go home and hit. I wasn't just with small school. I didn't play like D1 softball.
Yeah. Okay. Question number 2. How long did it take to pay off your student loans?
11 months to the date.
11 months.
So yeah.
Did you stop or did you keep making deals happen?
I focused on like a follow-up campaign with my deal machines because at that point, like honestly, I was going and I was continuing to drive, and I was like I mentioned before, I was so competitive that like I wanted my name to be stamped on a house before one of these boys could, that I would just go and click like every house that looked like crap instead of probably like narrowing it down to the ones that would be easy, quick pickup.
When you say one of these boys,
what's the difference?
Who are we talking about?
One of the sales guys that were competing against me.
Oh, okay.
So like,
There's a little competition,
exactly.
in inner office competition. How many people were you competing against?
There was 10 to 12 of us that were doing it at one time.
And where did you rank in that?
I did come in first.
There you go.
You came in first.
I
Amazing.
did.
So what do you mean by, I just want to clarify for somebody who's listening and they're like, oh, I want to go look for my own rundown houses. You're saying that you added too many.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can you just speak to what would have been the best strategy instead of adding every single house?
So obviously, like what we taught the guys here kind of after I like backed off of it a little bit and I was actually trying to like pour into the sales team, and this is what we should be looking for, is look for the tall grass. Drive when it's snowy, look to see if there's no footprints. If there's no footprints in the house is vacant. Like those small little pieces of like just, or not just the house looks crap, like looks terrible at that. You got to look for the signs of it being empty. or it clearly being a tenant property. So like I would look for like cars in the front yard instead of the driveway. Like I would just look for little things that would scream to me, if I owned that house, I would want out of it. It was my rental property, and I understood that those were the tenants in there. That's how they was being treating it. It might be better to just liquidate it and move on.
Got it. And if you see a street with every single house looking run down, you're saying those are maybe the houses that you shouldn't be adding driving for dollars. Maybe you should just send mail to that whole street.
Correct. Instead of, yes. 21-year-old me just said, we're going to add the whole neighborhood, and I'm not going to let these sales guys touch this neighborhood.
Yeah. Because you were making, was it like a base salary, but you got paid extra
Correct.
commissions if the house came from one of your driving for dollars leads?
Correct. So here we have what's called a self-gen program. So like if you bring a deal to the company that the company didn't pay for, you get a higher piece of, or higher commission, or a bigger piece of pie. And at the time I was like, okay, if I get a couple of these, my student debt's gone. I mean, I'm in the same boat. Full transparency, I'm in the same boat now. I have a new vehicle. I'm like, okay, if I get X amount of deals, I'll pay my vehicle off and I'm done with that. Like, that's just kind of how our brains work here of like, yeah, I can work the leads, the boys can work the leads that are in the system, or they can go out and find their own and make money.
Got it. Well, cool. That's really exciting. I've never talked to somebody who paid off their student debt like that, and you're the first guest that's actually a part of the team rather than like a solo entrepreneur who's been doing this. So it's been a real pleasure to talk with you about that. Now, I know you guys operate in Indianapolis and in Louisville, Kentucky, at least. If somebody listening to this like finds a deal on their own driving for dollars, would they be able to give that lead to you guys and you guys pay them that 50% commission?
It does have to be something that we look into, but I'm pretty sure my guys here won't turn away deals.
Got it.
I don't want to.
Are there any other states that you operate in?
We are fully in Louisville and Indianapolis right now. We'll be back into the Cincinnati market probably in the coming months.
Awesome. Well, if you guys listening want to actually learn more in detail about what types of houses that you can make, $10,000 to $20,000 from, check out episode 75 of the podcast. And that's one of the solo episodes. I broke that down in great detail. Ryan, did you have any final questions for Sadie today?
So what are you doing next? Like, I can relate so much with the hunger for money and the hunger for success. So what do you do now to fulfill that cup?
So, we still, obviously, this year was crazy for me personally. Obviously was promoted. So I'm here to, I'm now VP of marketing. So I started as an intern, and have just, thank you, slowly made my way up, got married this year, hosted one of the biggest events for Mainstay this year. So naturally, 2023 has been a lot. Bought my first house, bought my first new car. I guess I just decided to do everything in 2023. So 2024 looks like my husband and I actually starting our portfolio. We want to start finding some doors here. Something else I will note is I have gone to Louisville to drive for deals. Just because it's a market that we're in. If you're hungry enough, you'll go the extra mile of going down there and driving through the neighborhoods and adding them to that. Naturally, the competitor in me did do that. Learned a lot about the neighborhoods down there and why it's really good to invest, but other topic.
Amazing. Sadie, is there a place where people can reach out to you? Do you have social media?
I do. Oh gosh. I know. I think I shared with you my new handle. So weird having a different last name. Sadie Earl is my.
Can you spell it out for us real quick?
SADEEARL _.
Amazing. Well, congrats on the new last name. And I hope you guys kill it in your new market.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, have a great day. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Hey, you too. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the DealMachine Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please leave us a review and follow along wherever you're listening to your podcast.